Here the next episode in the series of Mystic Agnatavasi, the architect of the self. Good morning to everyone. Let's begin tonight with a moment of honest reflection. Think about the last time you faced a true hurdle, a moment when the carefully built structure of your life was shaken, a project at work collapsed, a financial plan was upended, a personal relationship hit a crisis. In that initial shock, what was your very first instinct? Where did your eyes turn? If you are like most of us, your gaze turned outward. You looked for a person, a savior, a rescuer. Your mind began to cycle through a list of names, asking, who can fix this for me? Who can I call it to get me out of this? We scanned the horizon, waiting for help to arrive, and in this waiting, we became passive. We became a victim of our circumstances, convinced that the solution lies outside of us. We sit in the ruins of our problems, believing our only role is to wait for another builder to come and fix it. We convince ourselves we are helpless. But this belief, this deep seated instinct to look for an external savior, is a story we tell ourselves. It is not the story nature teaches us. Consider the life of a small bird. It spends days, even weeks, meticulously building its home. It weaves together twigs, leaves, scraps of discarded string, creating a masterpiece of instinct and effort. It is a home, a sanctuary, a place of new life. And then, one day, the sky turns dark. A storm, a tornado of unimaginable force tears through the landscape. In moments, the nest is gone, utterly destroyed. Everything the bird has worked for has vanished into the wind. What does the bird do in this moment of total devastation? Does it look around the other birds, waiting for committee to help rescue plan? Does it cry out of sky in protest, demanding that its nest is magically restored? Does it find a sheltered branch and simply wait, hoping another bird will build a home for it? It does none of these things. After the storm has passed, the bird does something remarkable in its simplicity. It flies down, finds a single unstable stick, and carries it back to the branch and begins again alone. Its grief is action, its resilience in instinct. It does not wait for help because its very nature understands a profound truth. The power of build is inherent within the storm can destroy the nest, but it cannot destroy the architect. The bird knows that the same power that builds the first nest can build the second. This small bird, in its quiet, determined industry, is living a truth that sits at the very heart of the Bhagavad Gita. It is a lesson about where true power resides for the human being who feels lost and is waiting for a savior. Krishna delivers one of the most empowering and challenging verses in all of scriptures. From chapter 6, verse 5, Dard Atmanamam Natmanamam Avasadayeet Atmaiva Hyatmano Bandhur Atmaina Ripur Atmanaha, which translate to one must elevate the self by the self. One must not degrade the self, for the self is its own friend, the self its own enemy. Let us not move past this verse quickly. It is a declaration of spiritual independence. The first command is elevate the self by the self. Krishna is telling us that the force of our own rescue for our own upliftment in is an inside job. The Sanskrit word for self here is Atman, which refers to our highest eternal self. The verse is saying that we must use our highest consciousness, our divine inner nature, to lift our everyday mind and ego out of despair. The help is not coming from across the street, it is coming from a deeper dimension with you. The second command is the inverse. One must not degrade the self. How do we degrade the self? We degrade our own spirit. Every moment we spend waiting helplessly, we degrade ourselves when we believe the lie that we are too weak, too broken, too small to begin again. The act of waiting for an external savior is an act of self abandonment. It is telling your own soul you are not enough. And then Krishna gives the stunning reason behind this command. The ultimate psychological truth for the self is its own friend and the self is its own enemy. Think about this. The greatest ally you will never ever have in your entire life is you. Your higher self, your wisdom, your resilience, your spirit. That is the friend. And the most powerful enemy you will ever face it is also you, your lower self, your doubting mind, your fear, your inner critic, your belief in your own helplessness. That is the enemy. The battle is never truly with the external hurdle. The tornado is just a circumstance, the real battle in internal. Will you align with the friend within a will you are surrendered to the enemy within? The bird aligns within the friend. Its intent, brilliant instinct to build, it does not have an inner voice of doubt telling it to wait for help. So the question becomes, how do we do this? How do we stop looking to origin for help and start activating the friend within? We can learn from the bird. Let's call it the first stick principle. When your nest is destroyed, your mind will show you the overwhelming, impossible task of rebuilding the entire thing. The enemy within will say, look at this mess. You will never be able to fix it. It's too much. This is the toughest, the thought that causes paralysis and makes us look for a savior. The first stick principle says, ignore that voice. Your only job is in this exact moment is to find the first stick. You don't need to have the blueprint for the entire newest nest. You don't need to know how you will find every single twig. You only need to find the courage and the focus to pick up one piece. The first stick could be anything. It's sending one mail, it's making one phone call, not to be rescued, but to take an action. It's writing the first sentence, it's cleaning one corner of the messy room. It is the smallest possible step that tells the universe, and more importantly, tells yourself, I am not waiting. The architect is back to work. This single act of self resilience shifts everything. It is declaration of friendship with your own self. It silences the enemy of doubt with the quiet authority of action. So the next time you face a hurdle, I invite you to perform a small ritual. Instead of immediately reaching for your phone to find a rescuer, pause, close your eyes, place a hand on your heart, and say to yourself, the architect is here. Then ask yourself one question: what is my first tick? Find it and begin again. Let's close the final thought. The world cannot present you with a hurdle that is stronger than the friend you have within, and it cannot offer you a savior more powerful than the self you already are. You have the power, you have the experience, you have everything you need. There is nothing outside of you that can truly stop you. The only one who can stop you is the enemy within you. Do not give it to that power. Be your own friend, be your own architect. Your first stick is waiting.